Hey gardening friends, welcome to my channel. The garden is starting to wake up and I wanted to do a really quick garden tour of some of the highlights so we can look at some of the things that are starting to grow and bloom in the garden. So if we start over here, these are some of the two of the oldest plants that I have in the garden. The first one is a columbine called William Guinness, and I started this from seed I think 3 or 4 years ago. Columbine has these wonderful flowers. This particular variety has the dark plum flowers that hang down, but they're just so dainty and reliable and come back every season. This beauty next is one of my favorite perennials in the garden. This is a Baptisia. It's called Lemon Meringue, and I purchased this, I think this is the third or fourth year as well. I purchased this off of clearance for about $10, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, and it's really just loving its life here. It's bright, and just really look forward to that blooming every spring. And if we walk down in this part of the garden, we have some geraniums here, and I don't remember the actual name. I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. But I just love these dainty pink flowers. Next to that, another favorite. This is a gem called Totally Tangerine. This is its will be its second full season in the garden. It started out as a 4-inch pot, and it is just filled with these gorgeous orange flowers, and just really brightens up the dark spot in the garden. I think this will be ready to divide next spring because the plant is getting really a nice size. And then as we go back to the rear, and so here, this is a Weigelia. I'm not sure if it's spilled wine or wine and roses. It's one or the other. And I believe maybe some rabbits were chomping on it a little bit, but it really seems to be coming back, have those dark, beautiful dark leaves and the light pink roses or flowers. Really to see that that's making a comeback. These are two Baptisias that I just planted in the ground late last summer, and I think they're called like mint chocolate. Can't wait to see how these bloom. And I have two of those side by side, as well as a few daffodils that are fading. So I'll cut those daffodils back once they're fully brown. I want to take a step back. I wanted to point out how, we have to be patient in the garden. This is a clethra called Summertime. I planted this last summer and I thought it was dead. And then one day I came out and I see it's pushing new green leaves. So if I had dug this out, I would have been missing out on a wonderful plant. So happy to see that it in fact did survive. So I'll come back and prune some of the dead branches a little later on in the growing season. This is the peony that I bought on clearance from Lowe's. Beautiful red, pinkish red bloom. So that's just going to bring some great pop of color to the back part of this garden. And this is another plant that is Sugar Shack. And again, another one that I thought was dead. I think maybe it got hit by the frost. You can see some of these dead leaves. I thought it was dead, and I came out one day and it was pushing growth. So sometimes we just have to give our plants the time and space that they need. And same as with the clethra, I'll come out and I'll trim some of the dead stems off. This was a clearance plant that I got for about $15 a few years ago. So glad to see that survived. And then this is a foxtail lily that I planted a couple of years ago. So it didn't bloom last spring, but it's blooming this spring. So it's really just quite stunning. These foxtail lilies bloom from the bottom of the stem to the top, and just really makes a statement in the garden. This little plant here, this is another patience lesson in patience. This is a Joe Pye weed called Little Joe. And again, I thought that it was dead, and here I'm pretty sure it's pushing some new growth from the ground. So I'll just let this continue to grow until I'm absolutely sure that is actually the Joe Pye weed. This is a Royal Raindrops crabapple that I planted 2 seasons ago. And last season was the first season that it bloomed, and it was just glorious. The tree obviously was much smaller. So I was really looking forward to seeing all of the blooms on the tree this year. And unfortunately, with the weather that we had, I only got a couple of blooms on one stem. Very disappointed I didn't get to see the blooms, but look at the foliage color on this tree. It is spectacular. It just glistens in the sun. So though I didn't have the blooms, I'm really enjoying the leaf color on this tree. For all the vegetable gardeners, these are my onions that are growing. I also have some collard greens. All of these are in grow bags. In this whiskey barrel, these are potatoes. So these are Yukon Gold potatoes. So happy to see that those have finally sprouted. There's some more collard greens. It looks like I've had a little bit of insect damage. So I'll come out and inspect those and see what's happening. This wonderful plant is a salvia called Back to the Fuchsia. It is just a bright beacon in the garden, and I was really happy to see that it did reseed itself. So I have one small plant there, which is really great because I really wanted a trio of plants in this area. So happy to see that happening. And then next to that is a penstemon called Rocky Mountain Blue penstemon, one of my favorite plants in the garden, and it's just getting started with a few buds. So can't wait to see and when that blooms. Though they're just stunning blossoms. This is another Baptisia. I think it's called Blueberry Sunday. I actually have 2 of these. This will be the first year that this has bloomed, I do believe. This is something that I planted in the garden last summer, and it has these wonderful lavender purple flowers. Oh, just stunning. This is another Weigelia, either spilled wine or wine and roses. Same beautiful dark foliage and the magenta pink flowers. Here we have this really cute ajuga. I believe let's see, it's called Caitlin's Giant Ajuga. And I just have one little patch of it here, and it has beautiful blue flowers. This is Rose Marvel Salvia. And I've paired this with this Bachelor Button. Can't remember the variety, but the purple from the Bachelor Button goes very well with the pink of the Salvia. And the buds on the Bachelor Button is more stunning to me than the actual flowers. And then back behind there I have some Ansonia, I think it's called Butterscotch. And in the spring, you get these beautiful light blue. They almost look white, but they're light blue flowers. And then in the fall, the foliage turns a bright yellow butterscotch color. Here's the other Baptisia, the Blueberry Sundae. And if we go up front here, this was another beauty berry called Pearl Glam. And this is another one that I thought didn't make it. And it was late to leaf out. But it's still hanging in there. And this right here is Cat's Pajamas. I had 3 plants in this area, and I thought they were all 3 dead, but there we go. One did survive, and it's looking fabulous. As we turn around and look at the bed against the side of the house, here we have this stand of irises, and they're just about done with their bloom for the year, so I'll have to deadhead them, but they were absolutely fabulous. These have been here for quite a few years. I did dig them up and replant them. They were overcrowded, and that really just gave them the boost that they needed, and they were just fabulous this year. Next to that, I have this peony. This was a little plant that was on the property, and I dug it up and threw it in the bed. I don't know the variety, but it has these wonderful sort of tissue-like flowers with a wonderful scent. This is Sweet Alyssum. The variety is called Oriental Nights, I believe. I started this from seed about 4 years ago, and they just readily seed themselves all over the garden. So once you start these, you don't have to start them a second time. And this is a wonderful rose bush that has been here for many years. I don't remember the variety, but look at that beautiful bloom. And the stem is just filled with all of the other ladies in waiting to bloom for the season. I thought I had lost this to disease last year, but it is looking fabulous.